There are currently many questions surrounding Manchester United's midfield plans, particularly now that the club's pursuit of Carlos Baleba appeared to have stalled because Brighton were reluctant to let the player leave. If United were to turn their attention to another option, one name that naturally comes up is Morten Hjulmand from Sporting. The midfielder is a player Ruben Amorim knows extremely well, having coached against him and admired his qualities for a long time. He is a player who has always been highly appreciated by Amorim, and therefore it is understandable why his name would be circulating around Old Trafford. However, there are two significant obstacles to any possible deal. Firstly, Sporting have already lost their star striker Victor Gyökeres this summer and have no interest in weakening their squad further by selling another key player. Losing two leaders of their team in one window would be far too damaging for them, and they have made it clear that keeping Hjulmand is a priority. Secondly, Manchester United have not yet begun any formal or concrete negotiations for the player. While they are well informed about his situation, and he has been on their scouting list for quite some time, there have been no club-to-club talks initiated. Their focus had been directed towards Carlos Baleba, and as long as that pursuit was ongoing, they were not actively engaging in discussions with Sporting. United are still in the process of evaluating the type of midfielder they want to bring in following the collapse of their Baleba pursuit, and while there is interest, there is nothing advanced at this stage. It is worth noting that United may still revisit the idea of targeting Baleba again in 2026, depending on how things develop over the next 2 years. All of that uncertainty was swept aside, however, when Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Manchester United had in fact completed the signing of Carlos Baleba in a late and dramatic twist to the transfer window. Romano's signature phrase, "Here we go," was once again the defining signal that the deal was real and finalized, and for Manchester United fans, it came as more than just positive news. It represented a major turning point in their ongoing rebuild under Ruben Amorim. Baleba's arrival makes him the club's fourth major signing of the summer, following the acquisitions of striker Matheus Cunha, versatile forward Embolo, and the long-term renewal of one of United's most promising academy graduates. For a fan base that has grown frustrated in recent years with half-completed projects and a lack of direction in recruitment, Baleba's arrival signals a new era. It is a move that suggests decisiveness, ambition, and a willingness to invest in the type of talent needed to bring the club back to its former competitive heights. United's approach this summer has been marked by clear strategic intent. Rather than making short-term, reactionary signings as they have in the past, the club, led by its sporting director and driven by Amorim's footballing philosophy, has chosen players who fit into a long-term project. Midfield has long been seen as one of United's weakest areas, and the signing of Baleba specifically addresses that gap. At just 20 years old, he is regarded as one of the most promising midfielders in European football. During his time at Brighton, he developed a reputation not only for his physical power but also for his composure and tactical intelligence. He is skilled at breaking up opposition play, retaining possession under pressure, and transitioning the ball into dangerous attacking areas with speed and accuracy. These are precisely the qualities that United have lacked in their midfield for several seasons, and his arrival offers hope that the team will finally have a strong core capable of dictating games. This move also reflects Ruben Amorim's clear tactical philosophy. Since taking charge at Old Trafford, he has emphasized an energetic and high-intensity style of football built on pressing, fluid build-up play, and the integration of young talent. Baleba embodies those ideals, making him not only a signing for the present but also a long-term building block for the future. Unlike some of the expensive veteran signings of the past, which seemed short-term and disconnected from a broader plan, this acquisition is clearly designed with vision and purpose. The signing comes at a time of major changes within United's squad. Marcus Rashford's unexpected loan move to Barcelona was one of the biggest shocks of the summer. While the forward had been central to the club for years, his departure was motivated by a desire for a new challenge and Barcelona's pressing need for an experienced wide attacker. Meanwhile, Alejandro Garnacho's future remains unresolved, with Chelsea pushing hard to secure his signature and reports suggesting that the Argentine has already agreed personal terms. If Garnacho were to leave, it would create another gap in United's attack, making midfield solidity even more important. Baleba's signing is therefore not only about strengthening a weakness but also about maintaining balance in a squad that is going through significant transition. Negotiating Baleba's transfer was by no means simple. Brighton have developed a reputation for tough and shrewd dealings in the transfer market. Just as they had done with Moises Caicedo before selling him to Chelsea for a record fee, they set a very high valuation for Baleba, reportedly around €120 million. The Seagulls were reluctant to sell because they believed strongly in his potential, and they were under no financial pressure to let him go. What eventually changed the course of negotiations was Manchester United's persistence and their willingness to act decisively. While other clubs, including Manchester City, monitored the player from a distance, United took the step of submitting firm proposals and engaging directly with Brighton's hierarchy. After weeks of discussions, compromises were eventually reached, with structured payments and performance-based add-ons making the deal possible without collapsing. The response from United fans has been electric. On social media, the signing has been hailed as a clear statement of intent. Supporters have pointed out that Baleba has the qualities to transform the midfield in the way that legendary players like Roy Keane and Michael Carrick once did when they arrived at Old Trafford. His ability to maintain control of games, dictate tempo, and contribute both defensively and offensively makes him an all-around midfielder, something United have lacked for too long. For a team often criticized for losing the midfield battle in big matches, Baleba's arrival is seen as potentially pivotal in changing that narrative. For Ruben Amorim, this transfer is another step toward reshaping Manchester United in his image. He has made it clear that his project is about more than chasing short-term success, it is about laying a foundation for long-term dominance. The additions of Baleba, Cunha, and Embolo highlight his focus on youth, dynamism, and tactical flexibility. He wants a team capable of playing fast, aggressive football but also resilient enough to compete in the toughest situations. Baleba, young and hungry with a high ceiling, fits perfectly into that plan. Looking ahead, United's rebuild is still ongoing. There may still be defensive reinforcements required, particularly if player departures affect the depth of the back line. More attacking signings could also be pursued depending on how the situations with Rashford and Garnacho evolve. However, with Baleba secured, the message to the rest of the footballing world is clear: Manchester United are not content to sit back. They are actively competing for some of the best young talents in the market, and they are determined to return to the top of world football. Baleba's previous Premier League experience at Brighton means he should adapt quickly to life at Old Trafford, and Amorim is expected to give him plenty of opportunities early in the season. Over time, he could very well become the anchor around which United's midfield is built. In conclusion, the confirmation of Carlos Baleba's transfer to Manchester United is not simply another signing. It is a statement of intent about the direction of the club. For years, United have struggled with questions of identity and direction, but under Amorim's leadership, with players like Baleba arriving, there is a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. Old Trafford demands excellence, and while the pressure on the young midfielder will be immense, so too will be the opportunity to cement himself as a defining player in United's modern era. If he fulfills his potential, this deal could be remembered as one of the most important milestones in the club's journey back to the top. The summer window may not yet be over, but one truth already stands out: Manchester United are no longer standing still. They are rebuilding, they are planning for the long term, and with signings like Carlos Baleba, they are making sure the football world knows they remain one of the game's great powers. Ruben Amorim's philosophy as a manager provides further context for why this signing is so important. Since his appointment, Amorim has emphasized a style built on intensity, pressing, fluid attacking movement, and the integration of young talent. He believes in giving opportunities to hungry players with the potential to grow rather than relying exclusively on established veterans. Baleba embodies these qualities perfectly. Unlike some of the signings made by United in recent years, which often felt short-term and reactionary, this one is clearly strategic, aligning both with Amorim's footballing principles and with the club's broader plan for a sustainable rebuild. The timing of the signing also matters. Manchester United's squad has been undergoing significant change this summer. Marcus Rashford's surprise loan move to Barcelona was one of the most shocking developments of the window. Rashford has been a symbol of the club in recent years, but his departure was driven by a personal desire for a new challenge and Barcelona's urgent need for a proven wide forward. In addition, uncertainty continues to surround Alejandro Garnacho, with Chelsea pushing hard for his signature and reports suggesting personal terms may already be agreed. If Garnacho departs, United's attacking options would be weakened further, creating even more pressure on the rest of the squad. Against this backdrop, strengthening the midfield with a player of Baleba's profile becomes even more crucial. His signing represents both reinforcement of a key weakness and insurance against instability elsewhere in the squad. The negotiations with Brighton were complex and, at times, tense. Brighton are renowned for their recruitment model, which allows them to buy relatively unknown talents, develop them into stars, and sell them on for huge profits. They had no reason to sell Baleba cheaply, and they initially demanded a figure around €120 million, similar to how they handled Moises Caicedo's transfer to Chelsea in 2023. Brighton recognized Baleba's potential to become a dominant Premier League midfielder and were reluctant to let him go so early in his career. Insiders suggest that United's determination, persistence, and willingness to structure the deal with performance-based add-ons and staged payments were what ultimately tipped the balance. Unlike other clubs such as Manchester City, who were monitoring Baleba but never acted decisively, United took concrete steps to close the deal. That urgency and clarity in negotiations proved decisive. The reaction among Manchester United fans has been electrifying. On social media platforms, excitement has spread rapidly, with supporters hailing the signing as a major step toward restoring the club's prestige. Comparisons have already been drawn to the transformative midfield signings of the past, such as Roy Keane in 1993 and Michael Carrick in 2006, players who arrived not only with quality but also with the ability to shape the identity of United's midfield for years. Fans believe Baleba can have a similar impact. His composure under pressure, ability